It's 1971, and Francis Ford Coppola has a problem. He's just started filming The Godfather, and it is a nightmare. He clashes with his DOP Gordon Willis daily. There are people on the crew who are openly plotting against him. The suits at Paramount are so unhappy with the footage, they've placed a replacement director on standby, ready to take over filming the second Coppola is fired, which is going to be any day now.
The powers that be at the studio, as they were seeing the dailies, were horrified. They were horrified with everything. They didn't like Brando. They thought he mumbled. They thought it was much too dark. I wasn't moving the camera.
The man in charge of production didn't feel Coppola was competent. And it was true that someone was being warmed up in the wings to substitute for Francis.
Behind the scenes of The Godfather, it's pretty much The Godfather. Every day on set brings a fresh new crisis for Coppola to solve, but one of these many crises forced Coppola to make a tiny addition so brilliant you can't believe it wasn't there to begin with. In the small but crucial role of enforcer Luca Brasi, Coppola cast a non-actor by the name of Lenny Montana. Montana was working at the time as a bodyguard for real-life mobster Joe Colombo. Joe Colombo came to the set to visit one day, and Coppola and producer Al Ruddy spotted his hulking, terrifying bodyguard. Montana stood 6'6" and weighed 320 pounds and looked like he could crush a guy just by looking at him. Coppola said to Ruddy, "That's the guy to play Luca." But when he cast him, he soon discovered Montana had never acted before, but he had been a wrestler, which is a form of acting, so Coppola thought, I can make this work. The day comes for Montana's first scene. He comes to pay his respects to Don Corleone at his daughter's wedding. And the second Montana stands in front of Marlon Brando, he freezes.
I am honored and grateful that you have invited me to your daughter's wedding. On the day of your daughter's wedding.
Brando is unhappy.
Francis, what have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully? You hire this mobster, this wrestler, for me to act in a scene where he doesn't even know his lines.
The footage is unusable. So how is Coppola going to solve this problem? Reshooting the scene is the obvious fix. Reshoots are part of the normal process of movie making. But Coppola is behind schedule and over budget, and casting is already something of a sore topic at the studio. He had to fight tooth and nail to cast relative unknown Al Pacino in the role of Michael Corleone over the studio's preferred choices of Robert Redford or Ryan O'Neal, who were most definitely not Italian. Coppola also had to fight to cast Robert Duvall and James Caan, also mostly unknown, but that was nothing compared to the lengths he had to go to cast Marlon Brando as Don Corleone.
And the guy who was then the president said, as president of Paramount Pictures, these are his exact words, as president of Paramount Pictures, Marlon Brando will never appear in this motion picture. I remember I just sort of fell on the floor and I said to them, at least give me a chance. They're all right. If, number one, he does the movie for nothing, if he does a screen test, and if he puts up a bond guaranteeing that none of his shenanigans will cost a delay, you can consider him. So I said, all right.
After all this strife over casting, the last thing Coppola needs is to be proven wrong on casting Luca Brasi. There's a replacement director waiting in the wings to swoop in and take over. So Coppola needs to fix this problem simply and quietly. So how's he going to fix this? Does he recast the role? I mean, this happens all the time, but it's expensive and time-consuming, and it would be a very public admission of a mistake to the studio brass who are looking for any excuse to fire Coppola. Besides all that, Coppola feels in his gut that Montana is the guy to play Luca. This is the only scene where he really has to act. In the other scenes, he's just reacting. So is there some way to salvage this footage? That's when Coppola comes up with a solution that is so simple, elegant, and a testament to his unparalleled genius at storytelling. Coppola realizes he can save the footage of Montana freezing with a simple pickup in the garden outside Don Corleone's office. All he has to do is place Luca Brasi sitting in the garden, nervously reciting the words he's about to say to his Don.
Don Corleone, I am honored and grateful that you have invited me to your home on the wedding day of your daughter. And may that first child be a masculine child.
This gives us the context for Luca's nervous stumbling, so that when we see Luca stumble in front of the Don, we understand It's just nerves. This moment humanizes Luca because we see his vulnerability, and when you show a character's vulnerability, that's when we fall in love with him. This moment also helps us fall in love with the Don because we feel his awkwardness in this moment dealing with Luca. Coppola's fix does something even more important. By showing Luca nervously rehearsing before going to see his Don, it shows without telling just how powerful Don Corleone is. Because if the scariest dude in the world is sitting there shitting his pants in anticipation of speaking to him, we know this is a man to be respected and feared. The last-minute ad of Luca rehearsing in the garden flows so seamlessly into the existing scenes that you'd think it was always there to begin with. It segues perfectly into Michael telling a story to Kay about how his father and Luca freed the singer Johnny Fontaine from a contract.
Well, when Johnny was first starting out, he was signed to this personal service contract with a big band leader. And as his career got better and better, he wanted to get out of it. Now, Johnny is my father's godson. And my father went to see this band leader. And he offered him $10,000 to let Johnny go. But the band leader said no. So the next day, my father went to see him, only this time with Luca Brasi. And within an hour, he signed a release for a certified check of $1,000.
How'd he do that?
My father made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
The story from Michael was always in the script, and once Coppola realized he was going to add the pickup of Luca in the garden, he saw how he could sew it all together. This fix is a testament to the saying, necessity is the mother of invention. It's a brilliant solution to a creative problem, and it became one of the most memorable moments in a film that Stanley Kubrick called the greatest movie ever made. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more high-quality videos about screenwriting and the art of storytelling. This is James Hurst for Screenwrite. Happy writing.